Hello friends, hello listeners, how are you? Hope you are fine. Today I'm going to present the first podcast on medical astrology, and there will be many video lectures in this playlist of medical astrology. It will be a series of lectures, and the most critical issues that most people face, that are childbirth and many issues like that, it will be discussed in the coming sessions. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified about the upcoming videos. This scientific jyotish, that this will give information, this will give you knowledge about the most important things in astrology, in medical astrology, and in Vedic astrology as also. It's one and the same, and you won't find such type of quality content anywhere on other channel. uh, you make the comparison yourself. I won't ask you for that thing, but you'll find a difference, because this is a scientific approach to Vedic astrology. It's not such a thing based on yogs and other things, and it's practical, and practicals have been done, many myths have been uh, you know uh, taken away from the traditional system, and this is the scientific jyotish and the beauty of scientific jyotish, where the things are quite concrete rather than being abstract. Now, coming to this case, this is the case of childbirth issue, that a chart of a female born in born on 10 October 1985. Time of birth is hidden due to privacy issues. Place of birth is also hidden, and the subject matter of the this session of this video lecture is not to uh, put forth you the private details of the client, of the native in question, but the accuracy and the power of medical astrology in solving medical issues of day-to-day life. Now, given this chart, prior to discussing this chart, I'll try to mention some medical history prior the client got my consultation. Prior to that, there is a brief medical history of this patient. The patient, incurred almost more than 2.5 lakhs on the medical treatment, but get got nothing out of it. The results was zero. The results were zero. She did not get any result at all. Now when she took my consultation, I looked at the chart and analyzed the chart in the light of scientific jyotish, and given the medical significations of the houses and the planets, so far as her birth chart is concerned. So the ascendant lord is Saturn. This is the Capricorn ascendant chart, where the Lagna lord is Saturn, and Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter, Sun, they become the malefic planets, and Mercury, Saturn, Moon, Mars, Venus, they become the benefic planets. So whenever we see a chart, we have to see the strength of the ascendant lord in question, because the strength of ascendant lord plays an important role. Why? Because the ascendant lord implies personality. When a person himself is strong, then he can face any challenge. When his personality is strong, then he'll be able to face challenge. His personality needs to be strong. He needs to be strong in person, actually. That's why we focus on the ascendant lord in any chart. Then after we proceed, we switch over to the strength of other planets in the horoscope of the native. Now, when she consulted me, I gave her a telephonic consultation. When she consulted me, and I told her that the issue was that she's not, her ovary uh, is not able to produce eggs, isn't it? That's why the childbirth issue is there. She is not able to conceive a baby even after making such huge investment on the medical treatment. Now the medical treatment did not work at all. In most cases it does not work. It does not mean that medical science is incorrect, or I deny medical science. No, but there is a complementary between the two. In most cases 90% role is of medical science. In most cases role is of medical astrology, and 10% role is medical science. And in few cases 90% role is of medical science and 10% is of medical astrology. So it's complementary. And so far as my experience is concerned, the usual trend is that 90 plus, in 90 plus cases the role is of the medical astrology rather than medical treatment, because medical astrology gives answer to everything. Why you have problem, since when the problem has begun, isn't it? So what are the main things that will lead to the childbirth, and when a client, when a patient, when a native will be able to conceive a baby. So this is the power, this is the scope of medical astrology, where we can say what will happen, and in what time period a native will be able to conceive a baby. Now this is a Capricorn ascendant chart. Jupiter being malefic planets is you know sits in the lagna, and this creates a problem, but it's not uh, such a problem to be worried about, because it also depends whether a malefic planet gives any affliction in the chart or not. Isn't it? It depends in which orbit it operates. This is the scientific Jyotish. This is the beauty of scientific Jyotish. In what orbit it operates. And Ketu, Rahu, Sun, and Jupiter become the malefic planets. If these malefic planets create any problem, either they will afflict any planet, any function, any benefic planet, either they will afflict any house. When they will afflict any house, that is the point, and when they'll afflict any planet, and to what extent, what will be the percentage influence, isn't it? What will be the quantitative measurement of the malefic influence of malefic planet upon the benefic planet, and what should be the remedies in accordance with the extent of malefic influence. This is the scientific Jyotish. So it answers like this, that what is the problem, and why is the uh, you know why is the native unable to conceive a baby. Now the main thing is also that we have to see the main period and sub period also, Mahadasha and Antardasha of this native, given the problem in this chart. And also D7 chart, that's one of the that's a division of seventh house, what we call D7. That's the divisional chart, the ascendant lord of the divisional chart, that is considered, that's taken into consideration, and the placement of that lord in the birth chart, that is taken into consideration, whether there is any influence of functional benefic planet, of a benefic planet on upon that lord of the D7, because the lord of D7 becomes a prime determinant of an additional prime determinant of childbirth. Now usually we have been saying that Jupiter is the karak, Jupiter is the significator of childbirth, but in this case Jupiter is strong, yet there is a problem of childbirth. So it's not in such a way. One needs to be an expert, a veteran, and a certified astrologer, having at least more than 3 years of experience, and having knowledge about biology as well, because without having knowledge of biology and reproductive systems, the basics about different human systems, as we discussed in biology, it's impossible for a medical astrology to succeed, isn't it? And he should have a scientific approach to astrology. Mere having yogas and yogs and combinations, that will not make any sense at all. Now Mercury Ketu is a yog, is a combination, but that won't play any role at it, and neither that's defined in this chart to be creating any problem. So Ketu is malefic here, Rahu is malefic here, but Ketu and Mercury are not in conjunction, because conjunction is defined in a specific orbit. That orbit does not exist here. Similarly, Sun does not influence the second house. Being malefic, it does not influence, it does not influence the third house, and neither third house has any importance in the case of childbirth. So we have to make a quantitative measure. What are the strengths of the horoscope, what are the weaknesses of the horoscope, what are the quantitative strengths of the planets, and what are the quantitative strengths of the houses in question. So we have to address the main issue, that is the childbirth. Why the native is facing the childbirth issue, yet she has resorted to medical treatment, yet she is unable to conceive baby, and it has become a concern in their marital life. That problem is only on the side of the wife in this case. Husband is medically fit, his medical reports are quite normal, there is nothing wrong with them, but the problem is with the wife. Now, looking at the chart and analyzing all other things, we can easily see that Moon, Mars, and Venus, these three planets, they are placed in eighth house. Eighth house is an evil house. There is no doubt. It's unanimously agreed by all the astrologers that this is an evil house. And whenever planet is placed in the eighth house, it gets weak. The first implications, it gets weak. Now we have to assess the extent of weakness, to what extent a planet gets weak. Now Mars, Moon, and Venus, they become weak. They are placed in the house of obstructions, in the house of death. But it does not mean that the planets will become dead. No, they will become weak. Now the native will face problems. What type of problems? The native will face obstructions with regard to the significations of Moon, Mars, and Venus in the horoscope. Now looking at the chart, the Moon that rules the seventh house in this Capricorn ascendant chart, that is the Makar Rashi. Moon becomes the prime determinant of marital issues, married life rather. So the marriage it's quite evident that the marriage in this case is not marital life is not cool. There are problems in the marital life. Now the medical issue is another that's different. How to deal with that? Which planet to strengthen? Is there any role of propitiatory measures, the charities done for the malefics in order to get over the in order to overcome the malefic influence of the malefic planets? Because malefic planets give negative energy to our body, that creates problems, that is responsible for the illness of human beings as per medical astrology. And it's correct, it's 100% correct, it's practically true. There is no imagination, there is no illusion and all that about it. I have practically given consultations to many clients who have benefited a lot, having followed the recommendations and the remedies recommended. So the native was supposed to strengthen the ascendant lord, because it was found that the ascendant lord Saturn was utterly weak, and without the ascendant lord being strengthened, the strengthening measures of other planets would play any role. Because as I mentioned, that the role of ascendant is important. The first and foremost thing is to see the strength of the ascendant lord. So it was recommended to strengthen the ascendant lord, that Saturn, and the native was given a Sri Lankan blue sapphire. Native was given a Sri Lanka blue sapphire for strengthening Saturn, and she was facing the problems of Saturn, also given her health, given the nature of her health issues. So Mercury was not strengthened, because the conjunction of Mercury and Ketu in this case is not defined. Ketu does not afflict Mercury at all in this case. Neither Mercury is placed in the afflicted house, although it's placed in the Kendra house, but it's not placed in the afflicted house. That's the main point in the light of scientific Jyotish. And the Sun does not give any affliction to the third house. We'll say that it does not create any problem to the third house. Neither Sun gives any affliction to the ninth house, isn't it? It's so far as the nature of the orbits in this chart is concerned, or the nature of the longitudes is concerned. uh, Jupiter does not give any affliction to the first house, to the Lagna. It does not give any affliction to the seventh house. It does not give any affliction to the fifth house at all. So the beauty of the chart is that neither of the planet give any affliction to either to any planet, or either neither to any planet, neither to any house. So this is the beauty of the chart, that promises, that implies that the childbirth after the remedies will be smooth, because there are no afflictions visible in the chart. So it's the afflictions which make the case critical one. If there are no afflictions, the case will be simple. And looking at the ascendant lord of the D7, that is also promising that the native will be bestowed with the native will be blessed with child in the coming few months. And given the nature of the operating main period, that is of moon, and that's completely favorable for the native. The native was recommended to strengthen Saturn and other two planets as well. I won't say, because it to most people it becomes like that, because I have faced this issue before that they think that it's like medicine. For example, it's dolo medicine or it's paracetamol that is given for fever. Medical issues also, that if one faces childbirth issue, give him yellow sapphire, give him, for example, emerald, because it's like medicine. No, it's not like medicine. It's not like medical system, the way we give medicines in medical science, that are fixed tablets. But here it changes. The lord of fifth house, for example, the general karak is one thing, but the particular karak, the particular significator of the childbirth issue, that varies from ascendant to ascendant. That's why we need birth details. We need the nature of all the planets. We need the interrelationship of planets in the horoscope in order to analyze what the issue is. Then only we can recommend what combination of gemstones and in which figure uh, they have to wear, they have to put the gemstone, in which figure, in which metal they have to use it, and on which day they have to put it, isn't it? And it is explained in the consultation that what will be the time period in which the native will be able to conceive a baby, and how much time it will take. In many cases the child conception rate is quite smooth, isn't it? It's quite high. In few cases, in rare most cases, we see we have been looking at cases that where it takes few years to conceive a baby. Why? Because there are multiple afflictions in the chart, and the time and the planetary time period, the main planetary time period, that is of the malefic planet. So malefic planet won't give benefic results in the horoscope. So that becomes the case. In such cases, we say that the case is critical and the native has to wait few years. For example, it may be 4 years, it may be 5 years, in the light of medical astrology. Then only he'll be able to conceive a baby. So he or she will be able to conceive a baby. Now the question is that during this course of time they go through medical treatment. That's all absurd, because whatever they are going to do in medical treatment, this and that, it's impossible for them to conceive a baby, isn't it? Because the time period, there are multiple afflictions, there are medically it's also visible that the reports are not positive. Reports are not normal, they are abnormal. So in the light of medical astrology, it says that whether you have to go to treatment, what is the recommendation on the in the context of medical treatment, if you are going through medical treatment, is it viable for you, is it beneficial for you or not. So all these things. Now after the treatment was given to the client, and she was prescribed 3 gemstones. One is Sri Lankan blue sapphire, and other 2 gemstones also. And in this case, she was not supposed to do remedies, charities for malefics, because although the charities for malefics is recommended, but not to such an extent that they are linked to the planets determining childbirth in this chart, and the houses pertaining to childbirth, because there are no afflictions in the chart that is taking place, or that are creating any problem in the case of childbirth. So it was explained. It was 2 months later that the native conceived a baby, and now they are living a happy life. Although they were told by a doctor that it's impossible for them, especially it is impossible for this female to get conceive a baby. But that's in the light of medical science. In the light of medical astrology, things become evident. The time of conception, that is also evident, given that we have accurate birth details and all that. And this is the servitude to humanity. This is a positive science, a divine tool in the hands of the people who are called astrologers. But an astrologer should have a scientific approach, given the advancement of medical science and other things. If we follow traditional system of astrology, we don't get any result at all, because I have gone through that, being certified astrologer and having experience of more than 6-7 years rather, and experience of years, I would say. And given the scientific nature and scientific approach to astrology, to medical astrology, things become simple, and my approach is quite different. The couple is quite balanced now, the couple is quite content now. They have conceived a daughter, they have given birth to a daughter, and now the couple is quite happy. They have thanked me a lot also, apart from taking consultation from me. So this is how beautifully the cases are solved in medical astrology. Do subscribe the channel, do comment also, and if you face this issue, you can also comment in the comment section, and do recommend any improvement, any suggestions pertaining the podcasters, pertaining the sessions that I share with you. And do subscribe and hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. And thank you for this session. Thank you.